everybody, and welcome to Modena to Maranello, everything Ferrari Motorsport podcast. As you can see, today we're going to be talking about Le Mans, especially the Centenary edition, which was obviously last year. So we actually went down there. We were lucky enough to go down there and take a road trip. So we thought we'd share some of the experiences and adventures that we got up to. Plus, the new season starts in 50 days, the WEC season. And we thought we'd talk about some of the new signings and some of the new cars, anticipations, new teams, new tracks. Anyway, my name's Toby. I'm here in London, and all the way up there in Birmingham is...
Hi, I'm Paul, and let's get into this.
Yeah, so we arrived on the Tuesday, which was we were there from the Tuesday till the following Monday. And some of the guys, there was a driver signing, and some of the guys managed to get to that, which was fantastic. And I think the rest of us actually, there obviously there's a drivers' parade on the Friday as well, in the town of Le Mans, which was amazing. But what were your first impressions? We went to the track. What did you first think about that? What were your first impressions? Because I'd never been before, so I didn't really know what to expect.
First impressions: the circuit very well organised, easy to get in, not too busy, very fluid, very easy to get in there. It was great to see. You've seen these, seen it on TV so many years, and then suddenly you've seen it live, and it's fantastic. We were very lucky. We were at the ACO membership area, which I'd recommend to anyone going to Le Mans to pay a little bit extra money. You can also take guests as well. So you've got your own little area near the Dunlop Bridge, which is fantastic. So it was great to see the circuit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because obviously we were there on the Tuesday, so we got to see all the practices and the quali as well. But the first thing in the circuit, the merch, I thought was fantastic. Like, there's so many different merch stalls and different bar areas, of course, there always is. But the merch, I thought, was really varied. It wasn't the same thing over and over again. Unlike Formula One, where you get the F1 store and it kind of stocks everything. It's like a generic Ferrari top, a generic, McLaren top. I think, everything was kind of different, which I thought was fantastic. And like, as you said, the ACO, what an amazing thing that is, a dedicated area and it's limited numbers. So you're never crowded out. I thought that was great. But I was just so excited to see the Hypercar, the 50 and 51 car, because they're so beautiful. From the launch, I remember seeing them and they looked stunning. And I just couldn't wait to see them on track or even just see them anywhere. So that's what was exciting to me. So a few exciting things around the track that we saw. Obviously, beer's flowing quite heavily at this point, especially in the ACO, which is always a good thing. But we actually bumped into before I get into that part, our Dutch friend had an amazing outfit and a big hat, a big sort of 10-gallon hat, didn't he? So and I've put up a picture so we can all see that. But so everywhere we went, people were coming up to us and wanting pictures. And so I was in full reds, of course. And I think, Paul, you pretty much had full reds on too.
Yeah, or thereabouts. Not fun.
Yeah. So we looked like especially it was Peter, of course, with his 10-gallon hat. So
and also
everyone wants pictures.
Obviously, a lot of the people we met in Le Mans who are lovely people, lovely crowds, good atmosphere, nice people. They were must have gone for years. A lot of them probably 30, 40 years, or they do it every year. And then they were really shocked to see, Ferrari people. Wow, hello. But, friendly towards you. But it was so new to them to see the prancing horse on shirts and caps and jackets and flags. To me, people looked at you like their eyes sort of came really glazing, thinking, wow, Ferrari. And that really stood out to me. But they're friendly towards you, as I keep saying. But that was new to them because they've obviously never seen that before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's funny. I mean, there's obviously a lot of Toyota fans there, and
Yeah,
they were expecting the result that they I mean, I'm not discounting Toyota. They've owned WEC for a while, so and deservedly so. But we were there in force. The Tifosi was there absolutely, and we were not quiet about it in certain points. That's for sure.
no,
But
and I
like
think
as you say, it was interesting, to see. So there were people like us who'd never been before, and there were people who'd
no,
been at 1 or 2 years, and there were people who'd been there for 20 years or
yeah,
more. And so it was the atmosphere was nothing like I'd experienced at a Formula One circuit or an event. It was so friendly, so welcoming, and not territorial or tribal like F1 has become
yeah.
these days. It can be tense at times between certain people. So,
Yeah.
but this was not at all. It didn't matter who or what you
And I think because
supported.
they got the big Ferrari merchandise stand,
Hmm.
people throughout the week were buying Ferrari merchandise because it was hot and it was selling
Yeah,
out. So as the week went on, there was more red appearing, and you sort of, parent with child, oh, I want a Ferrari cap or a Ferrari
yeah.
t-shirt.
I think
So
people
that
were,
became a bit of a novel.
yeah, no, I agree. I think people were aware that obviously it's 50 years since they entered the top class there. So
Yeah.
they were like, maybe I should, have something to show this from Ferrari. Win or lose, we should have something. So
But also because it was the
um
100th centenary, the as you said,
everything, yeah,
merch, it just flew out like no end. I think they
yeah,
sold out of a lot of stuff before even the qualifying events started.
hmm,
They
yeah,
opened the doors early on in the week. You had to
yeah,
get stuff early because if not, but they didn't
mm,
realize how big it was going to sell.
for
And
sure, yeah.
there was not much. I know
But
there's not much left by race weekend.
no, nothing really, nothing. It was
Yeah,
it was if
yeah,
you were looking for something, you were hard. Like I know you're looking for a lanyard, weren't you? And that
yeah,
was nowhere
yeah.
to be found by
I
that
did get a
point.
hold
But
of one, by the way, but not at Le
I
Mans.
mean, we won't talk about that. Okay. Yeah. So as I say, we were walking around with, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of friends, and one of our friends had this big sort of 10-gallon hat and a bright red suit on, and he's an amazing person,
Yeah,
an incredible Ferrari fan and historian as well, and a big Gilles Villeneuve fan. But
yeah.
something we'll talk about in the future. But so everyone wanted pictures with him, of course, and because we were part of that, we were always sort of. You saw a lens coming our way, and surely he could have made a few quid out of that. I think, but
Absolutely. And he could have
so
sold that hack about 100 times over for a lot of money.
yeah, I bet next year, I bet there will be people there wearing similar things for sure. They'll find those things,
There'll be a
but
standstill with 100 of them selling them.
you know
They'll make
what?
a lot of money.
Let's let's do it. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm making that call right now. Um, but and the other thing, we bumped into Alan Nish. I forget that was in some. Was it so like a little showroom or
It was
Toyota
sort of
stand or
a picture frame unit.
right,
I think he must have had a friend there, and he must have signed some of his
right?
traits or something like that. And he was a lovely guy, obviously a Le Mans
Yeah,
legend.
yes.
But yeah, very friendly, and he
Mhm.
told us the possible outcome, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I think I forget who actually asked him. I think Peter may have actually asked him,
Yeah,
and said, what do you think of Ferrari's chances? And he was like, no way, no way. He said, absolutely not. 24-hour race, Ferrari's reliability will give out. There's absolutely no way that they'll be able to come close to this. And of course, that really sort of dampened us a little bit. Really sort of because
yeah.
this is a guy who knows what he's talking about. This isn't someone like me coming up and telling you that. This is a
And then
guy
you
with
got
all the
James
technology.
Calado saying that the car's only ever done 8 hours of running, so we don't know if it's
Right.
going to last 24 hours. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah, all of these things started to come down, and of course the beer consumption goes up at this point.
Yeah.
So which just adds, either way, you swing into depression or into sort of hyper mode. So, but obviously, as it turned out, it was the complete opposite to that. So, we had a few glitches in the car, which we could
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
in a minute. But this was all sort of this was all during the testing, and uh, the other thing that I wanted to mention was the Jensen Button stuff, because he was flying around in the
yeah. The
IndyCar,
NASCAR. Yeah,
and sorry, the NASCAR, yes. And and the engine note on that was nothing compared to
it
any.
was
I mean, it's so
crazy because
different
you
compared.
obviously I slept a little bit throughout the night of the race, sort of going to that, and yes, I certainly knew when he was coming or the
Mhm.
team were coming past. It was totally different. It was just
Yeah,
deep and raw and noisy.
yeah,
Great sound, but totally different. But
yeah, yeah,
fantastic to see that car at Le Mans. What a great story that is.
yeah. It is, and it was incredibly. I mean, obviously, round the corners, it was pretty hopeless. But in a straight line, I hear
It's quick.
it was, and apparently some of the LMP2 cars were drafting it on the straight
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
was
yeah.
so
That's right.
fast.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, that's crazy when you think about it. Um, but it was such a distinctive engine note. In the middle of the night, this thing would go roaring past, and you know exactly what it was. You could almost time the laps.
yeah. I think
So
about 2 weeks after the race, it was still going through my head when I was sleeping. That noise. Boom, boom.
yeah, it was great. It was great, and it was great to sort of get up to the paddock there and see all of those guys too,
Yeah,
see
as
the
I said, it's
cars.
great because you could still, with a sort of a normal ticket, still sort of get to the near the area of the paddock and where the drivers were coming to hospitality and around there, which obviously
Yep,
Formula One, no chance, you've got to pay the money to do that. So that was fantastic that you could still get near all those
yeah.
things.
I
Still,
remember walking on the track with you at the
well, we
Dunlop
went over
Bridge
the
there.
Dunlop Bridge, didn't we? Yeah.
That's it. And we walked onto the track, and they had the trophy set up there, didn't we?
Under the
So
bridge, didn't they? Because it was a
yeah,
wet day. The track was wet.
mm,
We
yeah,
were wet, and
yeah,
it was great. You go on the track, have a little look around. If we hadn't been in the beer tent so much, we probably could have walked a little bit more of the track, obviously. But anyway,
absolutely, yeah. But that's all
and then
right. It's all part.
that's
You know,
okay. And
yeah,
then we went down to the main start finish area where the grandstand is
hmm
and the pits, and you can
yeah,
see the drivers. They're all sort of
hmm
congregated around, and the pictures being taken. It was a great
yeah.
atmosphere, and you could pick out drivers. It was a
I
fantastic day. That was.
I think it is. It's nothing like I've experienced before at a race. I 100% understand the attraction and the beauty of that race. So everyone's just in such a good mood.
Yeah,
And despite what the practice sessions held, or despite where the quali was, um, you know, everyone was in such a good mood. And for me, I mean, well, for us, we were all the 50 car was on pole. Fuco put that on pole,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that was fantastic. That lifted our spirit, and I think that was after the McNish comment, wasn't it? So,
It was, yeah,
um,
yeah. And I think even though we
so
got pole, we thought, well, we've had some celebration for
mm,
something. What happens after the race happens.
exactly, we've got
Fantastic.
something,
Yeah, we
yeah,
got something
yeah,
to
yeah.
celebrate in the evening. Have a few more beers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So what was your anticipation for the race, Paul?
Yeah, I was saying it's the race doesn't start till 4 in the afternoon. So you obviously
Mm.
get up and have breakfast and you're excited and you're raring to go. Ferrari on pole as well. First Le Mans race. But then you got a bit of a wait.
Mm.
So you're sort of like not sure what to do. Not have a beer too early, maybe a coffee first. And then straight away you're off to the circuit and you're excited. Again, the organisation was fantastic, straight through, straight to the
Yeah,
ACO area, and then it's a real great build up. You can feel the tension. You get the speakers, the crowd are making noises. There's things going on in the air, and lots going
yeah.
on.
Mhm.
Um, and then suddenly the cars are coming round, and we're getting ready for the race now.
There was a parade as well, wasn't there, for previous winners
Yeah,
the
it's absolutely
previous winner cars.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of them, I
which
think, are stored in the museum.
so when the race actually started, the roar of the crowd and the cars coming by was just something else. I've never, it really blew my mind, the energy that was just going through there, and thinking this is going on for 24 hours now. This is
Yeah,
it. The first moment that sticks in my mind about the race was when the rain started, because
yeah,
I know it was still light, so it couldn't have been too long after the beginning, the start of the race. But I remember, I think it was it the Porsche curves, I think, was the
yeah.
first report of
Cars
rain.
were just spinning off backwards,
It
constantly, and it was all about just calming down and staying on track and seeing it
Yeah,
through. Because they were
yeah,
aquaplaning in. It was quite
they're
uh,
all on slicks. They're all on
yeah,
slicks.
they're on the top wrong
Yeah,
tires, which caused the
mm,
problem.
yeah,
I remember seeing the guys in the pits, the drivers who weren't obviously out on the track, thinking, "Wow, look at that! Whoa!" One after the other, they were like,
yeah.
it was unbelievable to see.
It was. I remember seeing a Porsche, sorry, a Ferrari GT car off
Yeah,
that was showing on one of the screens
yeah,
there.
yeah,
And I thought, whoa, what's happening there? And then you could see the rain, and then suddenly it was just like this ice rink. People were
yeah. It was
just,
an ice rink.
you know,
That's exactly what it
yeah,
was.
there were like 6, 7 cars down there off spinning.
But as a
But
spectator, you don't realize you turn up there and it's hot in the
mhm,
afternoon, and then suddenly it goes dark, it goes cold, and not only
it was
that, you've
very
got
cold.
heavy rain, and you're
Yeah,
outside, you're not under cover, and it was
right.
freezing as a spectator, wasn't it? It was really cold.
It was. It got a little cold at night for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like of course, like as you said, when it rains, you get a little wet and you get cold. Yeah. But we actually moved. I think we actually got kicked out of the ACO around 3 a.m. I think it closed. Was it 3
yeah,
or
they
4 a.m.
closed,
something
and
like that?
yeah, that's right. And I think a lot of people go back to the campsites just to have a bit of
Hmm.
sleep, and they come back in
Yeah.
the morning. There was quite a few people on their like sort of sleeping bags just to sleep on the grass everywhere. It was very
Yes, that's right.
interesting to
That was
see.
at Tete Rouge. We actually walked up to Tete Rouge, didn't we?
That's
And
right.
that's
Yeah, it was
where
quite a
we.
long walk, but we walked
Mhm.
down there, um,
Yeah.
see a bit of the night racing, which was great. And then obviously we come into the daytime in the morning,
Hmm.
and as the race goes on, and we're getting closer to the finish. Still a long way to go, but we're getting there. And yeah, you start to wake up, don't you, and take a little bit
Yeah.
more note of what's going on. And
Mhm.
yeah, it was great to see we were there.
So yeah, obviously we were will it was a fantastic win and it was incredibly emotional. Sorry, Toyota. I'm sorry about that. I'm sure you'll get your revenge. Um, but it was. I just remember. I think I was hugging you and crying and screaming, and the same with a few of the other guys. Um, it was such an emotional thing. I wasn't sure whether it was the alcohol or whether it was just being lack of sleep, or anything. But after the entire week of being there and the experience leading up to that, and then winning, especially with all the possibilities of, as you said, Collado saying, maybe we haven't run that long, and then McNish adding some things to that as well. It just felt so amazing to finally cross that after 50 years,
Yeah,
to come back and win it, put it
and
on
we
pole
go.
and win.
And we obviously the car had the issue of restarting in the pits with Paguidi. Did an amazing job to stay calm and deal with the technology of the car. And Collado and Giovinazzi were in there just, oh no.
I
Yeah.
know.
And
Yeah,
we were in the grandstands and obviously not understanding the French speaker
right.
on,
Hmm.
the
Yeah,
commentary.
yeah.
All you could hear was, you could tell there was a problem with the Ferrari.
Mhm.
Everyone was like gasping of breath, and suddenly we saw the car come past, and we poof, and
It
it
was yeah.
and it wasn't until the car crossed the line where you could feel like let it all go, and fantastic.
I think yeah, absolutely. I mean, you nailed it. That's exactly what it was because the 51 car came in and it had a problem on the penultimate pit stop, and it was a restart problem, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
And so when it came in again, we were all like, is it going to happen again? And of course it did. Um, so even though Toyota was like 2 minutes behind or something like that at that point, they'd had
Yeah,
trouble
it was
themselves.
quite far behind. It
Yeah.
then obviously it passed the Ferrari, but
Mhm.
luckily Puguidi got past it back again. It got the
Yes.
pace
Yeah.
to take it, but
Yeah.
it was panic stations, and I think it would have really ruined the trip. We were so close, so
Yeah.
close. It just
Yeah.
yeah, just
I mean, the cheer that went up when they got that car started, because it
yeah,
was in
yeah,
there for I don't know how long, but 45 seconds or something like
yeah.
that,
It
wasn't it?
was a while. It was sitting there
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Like
the
two.
engineer, I don't know his
You know.
name, the engineer guy, he's an American guy,
Yes.
absolutely brilliant, calm, collective, intelligent, and
Yeah.
just sort of telling him just press the reset button or something,
Mm.
press
Yeah.
it. He
Yeah.
was immense, and he needs a lot of
A lot of
plaudits for
credit.
what he achieved.
Yeah.
He's a good, very good engineer. The race finished, and then we were all celebrating on the embankment. And then we came back to the ACO area with the chairs, tables, the bar, the food area. And it was
Yeah.
brilliant because we all walked down as Ferrari fans in a big group of red.
Yeah.
And everyone was cheering, weren't they? Because they were,
I think they did cheer. Yeah, they did. As we came down the steps, yeah, they
and it
they
was
were
really
cheering.
fantastic atmosphere. I think they were so glad Ferrari won the Centenary race as well. It made it so special. I think that
Incredibly special.
the key. And then I said we celebrated. We had a few more beers.
Did we?
We thought, well, like Formula One,
Maybe.
let's get the party started, wasn't it? So then we left the ACO area. It's like everyone's gone. It was
Yeah, that's
just like
right. Yeah.
a ghost town. Everyone had disappeared.
Hmm.
Fair enough. We'll go and enjoy ourselves back at the campsite. Not a problem. And then we walked on, and there was a Ferrari area just as we walked towards where we get the shuttle
Oh
bus
yeah,
campsite. It was for the I think more the Ferrari owners.
Casa Ferrari.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Ferrari
And,
house. Yeah,
we thought,
or
well,
home. Yeah,
have a look, and then would you believe it? Suddenly, the trophies were there, the
mhm.
drivers were there,
Yeah,
the team were there, and they were sort of celebrating with the group of Ferrari guys. And it was
yeah.
like, wow, this is fantastic.
We lucked into that. I don't. That was absolute luck. I mean,
Yeah,
the circuit was almost empty, and as you say,
yeah,
we were walking out of it, and they were all just celebrating it. The trophy was there, the drivers around the trophy, and we walked straight in, and we're feet away from them, with
yeah. And
everybody else
I
taking
got a
pictures, and
photo with the three drivers, which was
yeah,
only about an hour, 2 hours after the race, which
yeah, I
was
know,
amazing.
yeah,
Puglisi signed my shirt.
hmm,
Um,
yeah.
and what an experience that was.
It was an extra highlight or bonus, however you want
Yeah,
to look at it,
yeah,
because we were buzzing, and then suddenly to come across
absolutely.
that
The
in Casa
drivers had to
Ferrari,
stand like a yard away from them.
yeah.
Was absolutely amazing. And then it didn't matter that we didn't have any more shuttle buses back to because the shuttle buses stopped back to the campsite as well, didn't they? So we had to take the
You know what?
long walk
You
all the
know
way back to the campsite in the end.
th that's something people should know. If you're going to Le Mans, everything stops at 4. I mean, the race stops at 4, and literally everything
Everything
else does
stopped. Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Like there are no merch, there are no bars, there are no transport. Like wherever your accommodation is, you better be in it or on your way to it before the end of the race, which
yeah,
is a little strange to me that they don't at least do a couple hours after the race. But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, there is no way of getting anywhere unless you're on a bike or your own car, or otherwise you're on foot.
yeah.
And we had a good hour walk back to the campsite, didn't we? So
We did, yeah.
and it was
We,
party
we were just
time.
enjoying the moment, and there was no rush,
Yeah.
and people
No.
was we were celebrating with other people, and because we had all the red on, and they were sort of saying,
Mhm.
"Well done, congratulations," and yeah,
Yep.
it was a great. I
Yeah.
never
People
forget
driving by,
that.
blowing their horns, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was great. Yeah.
yeah, and that's nice to see. That was nice to see.
Wonderful. Yeah. So it's an exciting season coming up. We've actually got 8 races, 4 classics, 2 new venues, and 2 returning venues. So, what do you think about that, Paul? Are you excited to see from Qatar onwards?
Yeah, it's going to be another fantastic year. 8 races. It's a shame there's not more races. Hopefully, in the future, they will add a few more as
Hmm.
the series is getting more popular. We've got so many new manufacturers coming into the series this year. It's going to be very
Yeah.
interesting.
In addition, well, we've got Alpine, BMW, Lamborghini. The most anticipated for me is the Lamborghini because those guys they ain't messing around. So out of all of them, we've got to be on it. I think. I you know I have it on good authority that those guys are not messing around. They are passionate, they are hardworking, and as devoted as Ferrari are, if not more so. So they have a point to prove. They are back and they
Yeah.
want to win. So I think I'll be shocked if they're not on it. So I hope that we are too, to be honest. And I'm sure we will be. We've got a lot of momentum. Last year was good. I think we had it on. We had an awful lot actually of podiums last year and
Yeah.
great quality sessions. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, we're very quick on the one lap. Obviously,
mhm.
the endurance it was a bit tricky. Toyota were just a lot quicker than we were. I think Toyota are
Yeah,
going to be the benchmark again this coming season. They're going to be the ones to beat. Um,
yeah,
uh, Porsche and Peugeot are going to be wanting to improve on last year. And so it's not only about being the second best, it's keeping the others
yeah.
behind and closing the gap on
Mhm.
Toyota. And difference is going to be the strategies, I feel, more this year because
Right.
it's going to be harder there's a lot of quicker cars to pass this year if you fall behind.
Hmm.
Whereas
Hmm.
last year, not so difficult with the LMP2 cars, so to speak.
Hmm.
A lot more hypercars. So it's
Hmm.
going to be strategy is going to be very important. I think you don't get caught behind too far behind with
Yeah.
90 hypercars on the circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you mentioned Porsche because I mean their performance last year was, I know we don't want to talk about it, but it wasn't great, was it? I mean, I
Yeah,
was expecting from
yeah,
previous seasons they've been strong, and suddenly I don't know what happened last year, but they were way off. So
yeah. And
um,
Peugeot had quite a lot of car issues which they need to
yeah,
sort. And I said all these new teams that the key thing is reliability. They need the reliability
hmm,
for with these endurance races. So that's what they'll be
hmm,
looking for. They can't afford the cars to be breaking down halfway through these races. So that's going to be key
hmm,
for them. The base marker that they need to make sure that the car can last the races. That's going to
yeah.
be important.
Another exciting part about this season, upcoming season, of course, is the return of well, I don't know what to call it. I mean, it feels like a return to Ferrari for Kubica, but obviously it isn't. We all know he was signed before his unfortunate accident. Um, but what was that, 12, 13 years ago?
Yeah,
And that
it was
horrific,
quite a while back. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, in Italy, I think it was, wasn't it, when
that's
he
right.
was,
Yeah, it was a horrific crash. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, it was such a shame because I've always been a big fan of Kubica. I think he's a
yeah, me
great
too.
driver.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
it was such a shame that he didn't continue his Formula One career, and then he obviously came back after his hand was dealt with, and he's never going to be the
Yeah,
same driver again in Formula One. But I think the uh, the World Endurance Series suits him better in terms of the cars to handle
yeah,
better. He had a great couple of seasons in LMP2, I
yeah,
felt. And I think it's great to head up this sort of more privateer team, the third
yeah,
car,
yeah, yes,
because only two of the works teams of the 50-51 car are the only teams that can gain the Ferrari the points and the
right.
championship points there. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so great to head up this new
Mhm.
privateer team, which I think is going to be supported by Richard Miller. I think the Swiss watch company. It seems
Richard Mille. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
they're heading up the team. That's well, I've not heard too much about the team to be honest, but it get
mm.
quite quiet. But now we know the three drivers within the team. One was announced today.
Yes, yeah. Schwartzman, of course.
Yeah, which I think is
Fantastic.
great because he couldn't have another probably year without racing.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he's been sort of test driver for a long time now, hasn't he? And
Yeah,
obviously he had his GP2, or what do they call it now? FF2. I don't
F2.
even know
Yeah,
what. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I've always liked him. I thought he was always quick, always
yeah,
good.
yeah,
So be interesting to see what it's like him. And so it's the Roberts team with Yippee Yee, isn't it? So
yeah. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it'll be. I'm excited. Another Ferrari on the grid. Let's see what
Yeah, and I
happens.
think these drivers are looking at performing to maybe look at trying to get in the works team.
Yeah.
That would be their
Mm,
objective. So it's
mm,
going to keep the six main drivers on their toes,
mhm.
who I think I'm really happy to see they've been re-signed for another year.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
but now they know they've got this other team behind them
Mhm,
that with the drivers, the good caliber that they've got, that they've got to sort of make sure
mhm,
they perform. And obviously we're a big fan of James Collado, being a British
mhm.
driver.
Someone
Um,
you're going to see tomorrow at Autosport.
yes, yeah, I'm looking forward to
That's it.
seeing James tomorrow at the Auto Sports Show in Birmingham, which I'm
Yes,
hoping to put a little bit of see videos and photos
mhm.
together for that because
Be
would you
great.
believe 20-minute drive up the road, sitting there now is the Le Mans winning car.
That's
It's
it.
crazy to think in the middle of central England, it's only just over there.
I think you should go up and take a trick, mate. Find the keys, bring it home.
I think it should be, yeah, I think I should be able to put it on my drive just for an afternoon or something like that. That would be
Absolutely,
nice.
take it to the local boozer and put it in the
Can
car
we put
park,
it on the
see what
car
happens.
park? Yeah, that would be
That's
good. Yeah.
it.
As long as you don't fall in the canal behind, that'll be fine.
No, no, please, yes, no, we don't need that. So, but I don't think either of us could afford to replace it. So,
No, no,
um,
absolutely not.
no, that's great. Yes, and of course, by the time people see this, it'll be the last weekend. So the previous weekend. So because this will be going out midweek. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, good luck with that, mate. That's I'm excited to
Thank you.
see
Yeah, I'm looking
to
forward
hear
to it.
all
Looking
about that.
forward to the day. Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching Modena to Maranello. So that wraps it up for us. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's been some comedy there, and probably not a lot of information, but some comedy. But basically, if you haven't been to Le Mans, you have to go. It is a fantastic circuit, an amazing race, such a great experience. We were there for the week, and I highly recommend it. Get your camping boots out and go and have some fun because it's incredible. So Paul's going to Autosport tomorrow. Like I say, I've got some trips coming up, which will be fun, and plenty more of this nonsense coming your way over the next few weeks and months. So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye for me.